All right, welcome back to ABA Exam Review and our BCBA Exam Practice Question Series. We're going through a set of questions together and breaking them down. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Please like and subscribe. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials. As always, when you pass, let us know so we can include you in our Sunday shout out. Work hard, study hard. Let's get going. A behavior analyst wants to help prepare her client for her first day of kindergarten. She asks the school if she can observe a day or two of the kindergarten class and systematically takes notes on what she sees. She then starts to design her intervention. The behavior analyst is using what strategy? This is a generalization question. Remember, we have several different strategies when we're training and teaching for generalization, because generalization is not only one of our dimensions, but it's arguably the most important. If we're not generalizing skills we teach, we're not really being effective, because we can teach a million things in a clinic setting. If it's not happening in school and at home and in public, what does it matter, right? So we need to determine what generalization strategy is the behavior analyst using. So we know that they want to prepare the client for the first day of kindergarten. Not only is she going in to observe, but she is systematically taking notes. And this is kind of the key. So she's systematically figuring out what she needs to do to train and teach her client about kindergarten. What is the strategy? A, training loosely. Training loosely is when we alter non-critical elements of the environment so that they don't obtain stimulus control. If she's in there systematically taking notes, then she is really looking for all the different response variations, all the different stimuli. She's figuring out what exactly she needs to program to get her client ready. So she's doing B. She's conducting a general case analysis, looking for all the different stimuli she might encounter. What about the responses she might need? She's systematically, and that's the key word again, systematically observing and taking notes on all these things so she can start to design her intervention. C, negative teaching examples. Well, she might be developing negative teaching examples, but this is not the strategy that the question is talking about. Negative teaching examples are when we use examples to teach when not to do something, right? We don't cross the street when the car is coming. We do cross when there's no car. Not crossing the street is a negative teaching example when the car is coming. And then D, stimulus equivalence training. Obviously, it's not stimulus equivalence training. We're not teaching symmetry. We're not teaching reflexivity. We're not looking for transitivity. What she's doing is systematically observing and taking notes on this setting that she needs to teach her client. So she's conducting a general case analysis. Gracie thinks she has prepared enough for her accounting exam on Thursday. After taking the exam, Gracie thinks she has done horribly. Her friend asks her what happened, and Gracie says, "My test anxiety caused me to fail again." What mistake has Gracie made? The clear giveaway is what? What's this word caused? Because what Gracie has done is attributed causal factor, basically saying anxiety led to the behavior. Now, why is that a problem? Well, anxiety is considered what? Well, it's considered a hypothetical construct in this scenario where we're blaming the anxiety for the behavior. Do we recognize thoughts and feelings as behavior? Yes, we recognize anxiety exists. What we don't do is attribute behavior, causal attribution, to the anxiety. That's what Gracie has done. So if she said, well, I had anxiety, but I failed because I did not study enough, now we're talking about something measurable, the way she studies. Instead, she said the anxiety was the cause of failing again. Of course, anxiety is internal. It's a construct. We can't measure it. We can't observe it. So it's not great to attribute your behavior to. So that's the mistake Gracie has made. So let's explain that. What mistake has Gracie made? A, Gracie did not study enough. Well, we don't know. It says she's prepared enough for her accounting exam. It doesn't say anything about not studying enough. And she's not even blaming it on the studying. She's saying it's the anxiety. So what she's doing is B. She's using an explanatory fiction to explain her behavior. So what is the difference between an explanatory fiction and a hypothetical construct? Well, the hypothetical construct is the anxiety, right? A construct is something we create. So ego, anxiety, frustration, these are hypothetical constructs. When we use the constructs to explain behavior, then it becomes an explanatory fiction. So the idea that her test anxiety caused her to fail again is the explanatory fiction. Attributing failure to the hypothetical construct is also what she did. The construct is the anxiety, which she attributes the failure to, and then she tries to explain it away using an explanatory fiction. So what mistake has Gracie made? Well, D, both B and C. So it's a mentalism question, right? We don't attribute behavior to mentalisms. They exist. They're real things. We don't use them as causal factors for behavior. Consider the data collection form below. This type of data collection form was most likely used for what type of data collection? And this is from Cooper. So let's look at this sheet. Okay, we have our observer. We have the time it began, 9:30, time ends, 10:15, date. And then we have antecedent behavior consequence, which should be an immediate giveaway, right? And then we have very specific options under each, right? Antecedents, we have attention diverted, task, alone, behavior, very specific behaviors, tantrum or aggression, and then very specific consequences, right? Attention, reprimands, et cetera, et cetera. So if we're looking at this sheet, what type of data collection are they taking? A, event recording. Event recording is almost akin to frequency, right? We're just counting essentially how many times something happens. With event recording, you're just recording every time a behavior happens, okay? There's no sheet like this involved. What you're doing here is continuous ABC recording. For 45 minutes straight, every time it happened, right, we mark off when it occurred. Okay? So continuously for 45 minutes, we're marking off the antecedent, we're marking off the behavior, and then we're marking off the consequence. What's the difference between continuous ABC recording and ABC narrative? Well, with ABC narrative, one, you only take data when the behavior occurs. And two, it's much more free-flowing. You don't have these prompts. You write down or record whatever you see before and after the behavior. You don't have these specific things you must check. That's the key difference here, okay? And then scatterplot recording is when we try to figure out when certain behaviors happen at certain times. And here, all we're doing is continuously ABC recording for this duration. So again, the key difference here between continuous ABC recording and ABC narrative recording is with continuous, you have a set time and you're going for that whole time. Plus you have these prearranged prompts. Narrative recording, you're just recording whatever you actually observe without using these prompts. So what type of data collection? B, continuous ABC recording. A classroom teacher is tasked with taking data on 6 different students. She must collect data on all of them, all within the same day. The students are all in the same class at the same time. What is her best option to successfully collect data on all the students at the same time while also managing the classroom? A couple giveaways. It's a straightforward measurement question. We know classroom teacher has to take data on 6 different students. So already we're thinking, okay, multiple students, a lot of students, probably not continuous, right? She must collect data on all of them within the same day. They're all in the same class at the same time. It's a lot to take on. She needs an option where she can collect data on all students at the same time, as a key, while also managing the classroom. A, partial interval recording, and B, whole interval recording. What's the issue with A and B? One, she needs to take data on all the students at the same time. And with partial and interval, partial and whole, you still need to observe that student the entire time. How can she observe 6 students all at once? Very difficult. And she also has to manage the classroom. So C, and this should be a D, right? Momentary time sampling versus play check. What's the difference between momentary time sampling and play check? Well, the true difference is, because they're essentially the same thing, is play check is a form of momentary time sampling where you're taking data on a whole group. Momentary time sampling, you're focused on a single learner. With the play check, you're focused on the whole group, right? A planned activity check. So the key is she wants to take data on the students at the same time. Well, she has to use a play check, right? That's going to be her group design using a momentary time sampling measurement system. Private Pile is standing with his company in line as their drill sergeant does bed checks. Private Pile starts to laugh at something funny he heard earlier that day. The drill sergeant says, "Drop and give me 50 push-ups." Private Pile never laughs during bed checks again. Drill sergeant used what? So first, we know Private Pile's behavior did what? Decrease. So it's some sort of punishment. scenario. Okay, Private Pile starts to laugh at something funny he heard. He's punished. He doesn't laugh again. Okay, so some sort of punishment procedure. And, it's a pretty easy punishment question, right? You can figure it out because he's got to drop and give him 50 push-ups. So what did he use? Did he use a reprimand? Well, no, a reprimand is when you tell someone to stop, or you're being bad, right? You're doing it wrong. Those are reprimands. A response block, response blocking, is when you physically stop somebody from doing something. He didn't physically stop him from laughing. What he did was assign him C, contingent exercise, right? Contingent on his behavior, drop and give me 50 push-ups. Okay, positive punishment procedure. Private Pile never laughs during bed checks. Again. D, negative punishment. Well, all three of these are positive punishers. Didn't use negative punishment. He didn't take anything away. He assigned him exercise contingent on his behavior. So, drill sergeant used what? Well, C, contingent exercise. What is the primary difference between a functional analysis and a descriptive functional behavior assessment? Now, functional analyses does what? Well, it's the best way to figure out the true function of the behavior. It's the most sure way. Descriptive functional behavior assessments lead us down that road, right? They lead us down the road of what is causing the behavior. Why is that behavior happening? We're looking for the primary difference between these two. A, only a functional analysis is used to help determine the function of behavior. Well, no, you can use a descriptive functional behavior assessment to lead you down the path of cause, right? Totally okay. B, a descriptive functional behavior assessment does not use direct observation. Again, a descriptive functional behavior assessment absolutely uses direct observation and should use direct observation. C, a descriptive functional behavior assessment occurs in a natural setting. Yes, that is the main difference. A functional analysis, well, there's other differences, but one primary difference, I should say, is a functional analysis occurs in a contrived setting. It's a very controlled, manipulated environment. A descriptive functional behavior assessment occurs in a very natural scenario. That's the whole point, right? We want to see them in their natural environments. And then D, a functional analysis is worse at determining why a behavior occurs. Well, that's not true. Functional analysis is the best way, the strongest way to determine a function. A descriptive FBA can help with that. The primary difference really is a descriptive functional behavior assessment occurs in a natural setting. Evaluate the following answer choices. Which one does represent positive punishment? Which one of these represents positive punishment? And I just put this in because we had the punishment question earlier, kind of a fluency check, right? Which one represents positive punishment? A, response blocking. This is one is usually missed because a lot of people think response blocking is extinction. Response blocking is not extinction. Okay, response blocking is a positive punishment procedure. As is overcorrection. Positive, negative overcorrection, positive punishment. And contingent exercise is also positive punishment. So which one represents positive punishment? D, all the above. Using basic reinforcement schedules, what is the ideal order to use when fading reinforcement from left to right? So we're looking for the ideal order to fade reinforcement using our basic reinforcement schedules. So we have continuous, variable, and fixed. So how should we start? Well, if you're going to start and you want the ideal fading, you've got to start with continuous, right? Most reinforcement, most frequently, FR1. So we have to pick A or C. Eliminate B and D. Then, when we're fading ideally, do we go to fixed or do we jump to VR? Well, ideally, you're going to go to a fixed to try to avoid things like ratio strain. And then finally, you're going to go to VR, which is the final, usually, type of reinforcement system because it's the best for generalization and maintenance. So the ideal order to use when fading reinforcement is going to be continuous, FR1, and just an FR schedule to a VR schedule. Now, we have interval schedules as well, but we're just focused on ratio schedules here. Excellent. Check out behavioranalyststudy.com for all of our study materials. Like, subscribe, let us know when you pass. Work hard, study hard. See you soon.